Okay, so username ID on system. If it is correct, it will get connected. Okay, you can see it is get connected. So font size is visible, everyone, or shall I increase some more size, or is it clearly visible font size? Yes. Is it font is visible? Okay, fine. So let me go with the first one, that is with respect to table level constraint. I'll just go with the primary key. Okay, what is the syntax you need to follow? See, I am not going to execute your practical programs directly. So instead of that, let us learn the syntax. Okay, and some examples. Syntax we have already discussed. We'll just go with the small examples how to use these constraints in the database. Okay, so later when it comes to see practical programs, maybe after 1 week or I'll just check it. So once you are familiar with the basic syntax, I will start with the practicals. Okay, so one day I'll just dedicate 1 day or 2 days for the practical. So we'll just go with working with the practical programs. So now I'll just start with the, I'll first create table. Okay, so you need to follow, these are the create table, then followed by you need to give the name of the table. Okay, whatever the table name you want. So here I'm just taking student data. Okay, student, I'm just taking just for reference M, followed by you need to specify the attributes. Okay, so here I'm just taking first would see there should be some meaningful attributes for the with respect to the table. Okay, so here normally first student will be having a roll number. Okay, you need after that this is the attribute name roll number. After that space you need to specify the data type. Okay, so how many digits if you want you can specify, otherwise it will take only 1 digit. So now normally roll number, or you can specify USN also. Okay, then in that case you can specify it as a varchar. So now I'm just making this particular attribute as a primary key. Okay, you need to specify this attribute is primary key by using primary key word. Okay, primary space key you have to use, then comma, then you have to specify the second attribute or further attributes whatever it is there. I will just go with the name of the student, then varchar. Okay, by this time everybody knows what is char, varchar. Okay, so varchar 2 of 10. Okay, maximum 10 characters it will read. So now that's all. I'm just taking two attributes just to understand how primary key works. Okay, so now varchar is done. So whatever the brace I opened here, I need to close it. Close and put a semicolon. Okay, so this is how you need to create the table. So let me, if it is everything is fine, so the table will get create, otherwise you may get error. Okay, if any mistake in the spelling or okay, so there is nothing, everything is fine. So the format whatever I used it is fine, that's why I am getting message table is created. So as soon as you create table, you can insert some dummy data. Okay, insert into these are all syntax. Insert into followed by you need to specify the name of the relation or the table. So name of the table is student. Okay, underscore m. Then now I need to specify values. I'm going to insert values now. Okay, insert into student table values. Now specify the values corresponding to each of the attribute. Okay, roll number and name. See, normally you will be having more number of attributes for any of the relation. So here just for understanding I have taken one. Okay, roll number I'll just go with roll number 1 followed by the name. I will just go with row and put semicolon. As a clear, no, I am just inserting values. This is just table is created. Now I am inserting values into this table, student table, with value that is roll number is 1 and name is Rahul. Okay. So if it is correct, syntax is correct, you will get a message one row is created. Similarly, I will just go with another element. Insert. I will insert. See, just having one row, it's of no use. You should have more number of data or more number of records in the table. Then only you will come to know how it works. Student M, then values. So roll number 2, I will go. Okay, and I will specify some name. Rashmi. Student. Semicolon. Okay, so you can just see you are getting so neatly the row is created. That means whatever the values you are entering, it is inserting into the table. So now let me check how it works when exactly the key constraint problem occurs. Okay, so I will just try to insert now value. Okay, for the same table, I will give roll number 1 once again. Okay, and the name I will just use different name. Okay. Can you see this? So I'm just trying to insert. I'm just trying to insert another value to the table with roll number 1 and Asha. Do you think it will accept this data? Will you get a message one row is created? I want the answers. Okay, don't put in chat box. Unmute and tell. What is the problem? You will get one row is created message or any mistake in the syntax. Observe and tell. Let me check. I'll put enter. Okay, can you see there is a error in the statement. So what is the statement it tells? So it is telling unique constraint violation. You have studied no violation for update operations. Okay, so in that case for insert. Okay, so if you are trying to insert same value, okay, for the roll number, you are getting this problem. Okay, that is constraint violation. It is telling that there is a constraint violation when you are trying to insert this data because you have declared roll number as a primary key. Okay, that means always this value should be unique. You cannot have two students having same roll number. Okay, so it is a constraint violation. Whenever you specify primary key, always it should have a unique value. Okay, otherwise you will get an error of constraint violation. Okay, so this one I wanted to show, that's why I'm just going with this step by step. Everybody understood, no? What is this constraint violation normally? So when you are inserting the more number of records, so you just keep in your mind which is the primary key. For that you have to insert the unique values each time. Okay, so this is the error due to the roll number having same value. So let me go with that. I will just change that roll number to 3. You can just see it will accept. Can you see one row is created? So just for curiosity, I will just go with the select star from select star. You should know what is this. See, by this time you are familiar, no? So instead of star, you can use roll number or you can use name of the student, or if you are interested in all the attribute to display, you will use star from student underscore m semicolon. If you don't want to filter any of the records, then you can just specify, no need of writing the where condition, where class. Okay, can you see roll number 1 Rahul, 2 Rashmi and 3 Asha. Clear? So this is about the insert statement. Okay, so primary key constraint. So that is simple primary key. That means always, even if you are not inserting value for the primary key, it will not accept. You will get an error. If you want to try that, you can just try. I will just delete this. You can just see it will not accept. Or null value also. If you don't have any particular, like don't know the name, unknown value, if you try to give it is null value, it will not accept, because always primary key should not be null. Can you see? You are getting error. Cannot insert null into this particular table and this particular attribute. System dot, this is the database name, okay, followed by the table name, and this is the attribute name. So cannot insert this null value into the table because it is primary key. Roll number is primary key. You cannot give null value. Okay, so that's about the primary key. So you already familiar. The table can have primary key with the composition of one or two attributes. Okay, not necessarily only one attribute primary key. You can have together, like two attribute forms the primary key. So that type of primary key we call it as composite key, composite primary key. Okay, just to understand that, I will just create another table. Are you understanding? Now I am talking about the composite keys. Okay, so composite key means, so it will be having more than one attribute forming the primary key. Okay, so let me create another table. Is it clear? So now I just told about the primary key. This is how you should use the primary key. When you are specified particular attribute as a primary key, you should be aware of all these things. Okay, you cannot insert the same value. It should be always unique, and also it will not accept the null value. Okay, so let me create another table. Any disturbance, you can just tell me, so that I'll check if any disturbance from my side. Create table. Once again, I'll just go with student. I will take some of the attribute, that is college, varchar 2 of 4, comma, follow the format also. If you are comfortable to type like this, roll number, see, these are all line numbers, 2, 3, can you say no? Those are all line numbers. Roll number, then I'll just go with the name of the student. It can accept 10 characters. If it is less than that, it will not pad the blank space with the zeros. That is the advantage of varchar instead of char, so that the memory can be saved. So now I have just specified all the attributes, but here I have not specified the primary key. See, we have different way of representing the primary key. So directly in front of the attribute, you can specify it as a primary key, or at last you can specify the attribute as a primary. So now this is composite. I am telling about the composite primary key. So that means I need to specify more than, I think you just check your schema. We will be having more than one attribute with underline. That indicates it's a composite primary key. Okay. One is I will go with the first attribute college, and also I will take the roll number. So what is this table tells, first you need to understand. Okay, so that's all. So this is, I am specifying it as a primary key. So if you want, you can just use the indent and you can type the program and close it. So what does this tells? Why I made these two attributes as primary key, or why it is composite primary key contains these two attributes? Because so here what is the analogy I have taken is, so each college may have the same roll number. Okay, so our college student will be having roll number 1 to 63. Okay, if I go to some other college, they will be also having 1 to 63 roll number. In that case, okay, for the same college, they should not have the roll number 1 1 or 2 2. It should not repeat, it should be unique with respect to the college. Okay, for different college, the roll number can be same. Okay, so now whatever the value you're going to take this, it should be unique together. Okay, so SVC 1, SVC 2, SVC 2. Once again, if you specify, it will violate the constraint. So if you want some other college name, ABC, okay, 1, ABC 1. Okay, so if you are specifying like that, what happens? It will violate the constraint. But you can have SVC1, ABC1, that is acceptable. Okay, so together these two attributes forms the composite primary key. Normally will not use, but some of the table it can have. Example in our company database, the department location. Do you remember? For both the attributes you have like underline indicating the primary key. Okay, so it is called as composite primary key. So this is a syntax you need to follow. Okay, so now table is created. Let me try to insert the values for this. Try to practice, don't do copy paste, so that you will become familiar with the query, because in the exam you have set of like part A contains, you need to create the database, part B with respect to the project. So insert into, not table, insert into, table name is student M2, then space values. I'm going to insert values to the table now. Okay, so let me go with this. Okay, comma, roll number is 1, comma, for numbers it is not required, so then I'll just go with the name. Okay. Okay, so now I have given college name, okay, the roll number and also name of the student, 3 attributes. Close it and enter. So now one row is created. Let me change the values here. So I need to roll number. If you don't give, once again it is constraint violation. That is null value, it will not accept. Okay, so now it is accepted. So let me go to the third value. That is also accepted. So now I will just change the college name. So I'm just inserting another student with roll number 1, but the college is different. Okay, it should accept it. Even the roll number is same, but college is different. Similarly, we'll just show you when you will get error or not. Okay, so this is also accepted. Now what I'll do is I'll try to insert row number 2, okay, with a different name. Okay. So here college name is same and roll number it is there. You can see here. Okay, you can just see here. I have already the value SVC and roll number is 2, but the student name is different. If I try to insert this, what happens? It's constraint violation. Okay, so unique constraint violated because you made this two values together, that is college name and roll number together is, we call it as composite primary key. Okay, when you are trying to insert same value, you will get an error. So now we'll just try with like that. You can just try by inserting some wrong values and when exactly you will get an error. Okay, so here you can see SVC 318 is there. Now what I'll do is I'll just try to change everything. I can keep same 3. Okay. Even name of the student also I'll keep same. Also if you try to insert you will get an error. Okay, so I will just try to insert this. Can you tell this record is inserted, is going to insert into the table? Obviously, even though, so the student roll number is 3 and the name of the student is 1 here. Okay, but here college name is different, but still it will accept. Together college name and roll number, it should be unique. Okay, so here instead of RVCE, if you make it SVCE, okay, you will not get like you will get a constraint violation. So constraint violation. Now what you can do is the same student details can have in different college. It was accepted. That means always whenever you are taking composite constraints, so it should obey with both the values. Okay, so this roll number and college, it should have the unique values. Okay, so that is about the composite primary key. So next we'll go with the not null. Okay, we have discussed about the not null. So what is this not null tells? So null values cannot be inserted. I think previously I told somewhere in the beginning for the first table, even if I try to insert null value, okay, so if it is just a normal attribute, simple attribute, it will accept. If it is primary key, you can just see here. So this is the primary key, that is roll number. I made it as a primary key, and if we am inserting null value, it is not accepting. You are getting an error. Okay, insert null, cannot insert null value because it is primary key. Primary key cannot have the null value. Okay, and also we can specify the attribute constraint like not null. Okay, not null. Create table. Are you people telling? Okay, if any doubt, you can just stop me in between. So next I'll just create another table because these are all the constraints where you can specify when you are creating the database. Okay, so for everything I need to take some new table name. So now I'll just go with student. Okay, I'm just creating another table. You can just see if you are trying to give the same name, it will not accept. You will get a message like already the table is existing. Okay, the table name also should be unique. You cannot give the same table name. Okay, so once again I'll just go with roll number, roll number, number. Okay, data type is number of digits is 4. Then I'll go the second attribute. So you can just follow this indentation so that it will be very clear if instead of typing everything in a single line. Name varchar of 10. Okay, now I'm going to specify not null. Okay, not null. I don't want to leave this particular attribute value as null. Okay, I make the user mandatory to give the name of the student. Okay, for that reason I'm just specifying not null. This is the constraint I am specifying. Okay, so next I'll go with another attribute. Okay, so that is marks. Take marks of the student. The data type I am specifying is number or 2 digit. I think 2 is because if it is 100, it will be 3. Okay, like that you need to think and you have to give the values. I am specifying not null. And close the table, put semicolon. Okay, so everything is fine. So create table student, roll number, name, varchar of 10, and I am specifying not null, marks also not null. Okay. Table, create table student. So it is already existing. Can you see the error? Name is already, that means student table name, it is already used by an existing object. That means I should change the name of the table now. Copy paste is not so comfortable. Instead of that, you can type the table once again. Not null, comma. See, all the attributes should be separated by a comma. Then another attribute is marks, number, 3 digits, not null. Okay. Let me close the table. Okay, you can see now no error. See, in case if in the same name, table name that is already existing, it will give the error message. See, always when you get the error, read the error. Okay, line number also it is showing, and what is the mistake in that also it is clearly specifying. You need to correct it. That's all. So now we'll try to insert some of the records into this. In that case, we need to focus on these two attributes because I am specifying it as not null. That means it is mandatorily you have to give the value for these two attributes. Okay. Put into name of the table student underscore m3 value. You just practice by typing so that you will become familiar with the like how to clear the errors or all those things. You need to type it and you have to run the programs. 1 comma, so just give me then marks. So marks I will just take 40. So one row is created. So here I have given all values. There is no issues. Now what I will do is I'll just remove Asha. I will specify name of the student is null. Okay. So now will you think this data will be accepted or inserted into the database? No, it's inserted. Why? We should not insert, no. You should get an error because I specified it as a like in codes. Let me go with another value. Codes here. Now name of the student I made it as null. Now is this record or whatever the value you are trying to insert, it should not be inserted into the table. You should get an error. Okay, so here I gave double quotes, so that is it is considering this is the name of the student. Okay, so always the keywords you should not, no need to specify in the codes, you can directly specify. So insert, cannot insert null into the, okay, in system, okay, table name, and this is the attribute name. See, so clearly it is showing how you need to follow. Okay, exactly, you're coming to the name. This is the name of the database, this is the name of the table, and this is the attribute name. For this you should not give the null value. So next I will go with, I will just consider some name for this. Okay, for marks what I will do is, okay, if I try to insert this, obviously it will accept. Is it accept or not? It will accept. Okay, so the mistake is I have not given the quotes. Always the string you need to give the single quotes. With this inserted. So now let me make this value. Marks, I will just make it null. Okay, so do you think this record will be accepted? See, even I am specifying here same roll number and name. Okay, not a issue. I have not specified any constraint, primary key, anything. Okay, it will insert. When you are not specifying any constraint, so it will accept whatever the value you will give. Okay, you are getting error because I have specified marks should not be null. Where is my database? Can you see here? Marks also not null. I have specified. When you are specified, see always when you are like any of the applications, if you have observed, some of the fields are mandatory. Okay, when you are filling even Google form, you will see that red color mark, asterisk mark, indicating mandatorily you have to enter some data there. Okay, so for the Google form, I made mistake. For email ID, I just made it as numeric. Okay, maybe it was not accepting the email ID. So like that, so you can specify the constraints properly. Otherwise, so you will get a wrong data. So instead of mail, I wanted to collect mail IDs, but now wrongly entered some 4-digit number by every student. Okay, so like that, it may happen in real-time application. Okay, it's not issue for what you have done. Some issue, but when you are designing the database, so you should be very careful. Okay, so I have not checked that, because of that mistake happened. Okay, so this is with respect to not null constraint. So let us go with another constraint called unique. Okay, and also I will tell you what the difference between primary key and unique constraint. See, if possible, note down all these things. Okay, so whatever I am telling, just parallelly, roughly you can write it in your notebook. You can practice. See, this is not for just this semester. You need this for lifetime. Okay, because all are going to be software engineers. You need to work ultimately with the softwares. So table, I'll just go with another table. I'll just give the name of the table is 2, and I'll specify roll number. Okay, and specify the database is, I mean the data type is number, half size 4 digits. So here I'll specify the constraint that is unique. Okay. Okay. So now this is the constraint I'm specifying for the roll number. So let me have another attribute, that is name of the student. You can continue typing in a single line, it does not matter, but it looks clear to identify any errors when you are typing. So it is better to use like this only, the format. Where okay, name, let it be 20, not an issue. So you need to check this sometimes, many times typo error. Okay, when you are typing, there will be a lot of mistakes happen. Just check it, or you can just run, you will come to know. Okay, here I'm creating table. What is the specialty in this table is I'm just specifying this attribute always it should be unique. Okay, unique means duplicate values you cannot enter. It's the functionality is similar to primary key, and also it should not be null. Okay, unique, it should not take the duplicate values, and also it will not accept the null values. Okay, I think I told one point wrong. Let me who will identify. Okay, there is something missing. Can you tell what is the error? So create table line number missing right parenthesis. So where it is missing? Telling right parenthesis is missing. I have given this is right parenthesis. This is closed. This is also closed. It's correct, no? Create table. Create table student roll number unique. Okay, this is a keyword name and where care. Still right parenthesis. Can somebody identify where right parenthesis is missing? This is open and this is closed. This is closed. This is also closed. Can somebody identify where is the error? Missing right parenthesis. So missing right parenthesis is showing here. Create table student. Opening bracket roll number and by number. It's not right parenthesis. Spelling is mistake. I don't know typo mistake. Spelling mistake. It's observing that. Okay. So silly mistakes. I just wasted 1 minute of time. Like that, you should be like you will come to know by practicing or working with the database. Easily, you can able to identify the mistakes. So now let me insert some data to this. Insert into. I've taken table names to then values. Okay. the values. Let me insert roll number 1, comma, name, and close. One row is created. So now what is the question here? So I am specifying this particular roll number is unique. That means it will accept even for the different values. I will give 2 and just so some name I am just specifying. Okay, so this is also accepted because whatever the data I entered 1. Okay, so next one is 2. It is unique. So now let me do some mistake here. I will try to insert same value, okay, with the student, name. So do you think this record will be inserted, or you will get an error? You will get an error. Okay, what is the error? It is telling unique constraint violated. Okay, when you are specifying that particular attribute is unique, so you are trying to insert the duplicate value. Okay, you are trying to insert the duplicate value. It is not accepting. So that's why it is telling it is violation. That means now this record is not successfully inserted because there is mistake in the data, whatever you are entering. Okay, and also one more thing about this. I told then what is the difference between this and primary key? Okay, so primary key, it will not accept the null value. Okay, I told it will not accept the null value, but unique key, it will accept the null value. Let me check. You see, it has accepted the null value. That is the main difference between, see, these are all the questions they will ask in the Viva. Okay, or it may be asked in the placement when you are going for placement in the interview. What is the difference between primary key and unique key? Okay, primary key never it will accept the null value, but unique key it will accept the null values. Okay, null value will be accepted, but it will not accept the duplicate value. And also primary key can be used for relating multiple tables. Okay, so do you want to see the table select? See, one more thing I'll just show you here. So let me go with first one, select star from name. What is the name of the table name? This table. Okay. See, null value. So that means it is not specified anything here. Okay, so this field it is empty for the student. Okay, so now let me just explain some information about the select statement. Okay, so here I told whatever you are going to specify after select, this is with respect to attributes. So if you are interested only in name of the student, if you want to display, you can specify the only name, or let me go with even roll number first. Roll number separated by comma. Okay, you are getting same output. Can you see? So select means whatever the attribute you have from the table, all the values, okay, all the records and also attributes will be get selected. So here always after the select immediately you will specify the attributes. So which are the attributes you want to view. Okay, so sometimes if you are not interested to view all the attributes, you are interested only to check roll numbers to know how many students are there. Okay, so that is the filtering with respect to the roll number. I mean with respect to the attributes. Can you see? I am able to display only roll number. Similarly, you can just go with names. Okay. What is expected output here? So you should get only name attribute. That particular column values will be displayed. If you want all the attributes, then you specify a star. So you just recall we have discussed already basic queries, SQL queries. Okay, if we are interested in the question, they will give retrieve employee name, employee salary. Okay, in that case, you have to specify only those attributes. If they ask display the employee details, okay, if they are not given particular attribute name, then you have to use star here. Okay, so this is after select immediately whatever you are going to specify, we call it as column filter. Okay, so column filtering you are going to specify. After that, from table, okay, from table. Make it once again back to star asterisk. So now you can even filter out filter out the what is that, record wise. Okay, you can just see here all the records got selected, but I'm not interested with all the student. Okay, I may want particular student details. So in that case, you can use for filtering the records. Okay, for filtering the records, I am interested only in the student with roll number 2. Okay, so in that case, you have to give the where class where roll number, so that you can easily get the, see, this is for simple database in real time. So roll number is equal to 2. Okay, can you see I am able to retrieve only that particular student details. So this is how you need to work with a select statement. So not only this, you have a lot of aggregate functions you can use. Okay, so many aggregate functions, and you can retrieve the some of the data. So let me go with one aggregate function. So still we have not yet started with aggregate functions. Count of roll number. Okay, count is the aggregate function. So select count of roll numbers from student. Let me see what is the output. Okay, it will give the total number of student. Okay, this is not 2. It is giving what is the total number of roll numbers it is available in the database. So just for a understanding purpose, maybe it is confusing. Let me go with, because I have inserted 3 student details. Let me go with your count of name. I should get value 3. Indicates the total number of students in the database. It is 3. Okay. So like that you can here use max. Okay. If it is with respect to marks, if it is salary, mark, max, min, average. Okay. There are so many aggregate functions. Some you can use. So those values or the aggregate functions, and you can calculate the summary information. Okay. So this is just, there are so many operations. Even you can just do some computation here. Okay. So if you want to roll number, okay. So for roll number, what I'll do is I'll just add. It's not actually correct, but just for understanding purpose, I'm just doing roll number multiplied by 2. Okay. Let me see what I'll get. All the logical or the other arithmetic operator you can specify in the select statement, and you can retrieve whatever the data you are retrieving. For that you are multiplying by 2. Okay, can you see I have multiplied by 2, so that is 2 into 1, 2 into 2. I have only 2 roll numbers, even though there are 3 students, but one student roll number is null. Okay, so this is how, like this you can specify salary. Okay, there is 10% rise in the salary for the employee who are working for the department research. Okay, so like that, based on the query, you should able to perform all the operations in the select statement itself. Okay, so many of the queries, it will be with respect to select statement only. Okay, so when you are creating database where you need create and insert, but most of the queries, it will be with respect to select statement. Along with the select, you have union operation. Okay, left join, outer join. There are so many things we have discussed in relational algebra. Same thing, it is applicable for the SQL query also. Okay, see, relational algebra, I don't know how many of you, how you did test. Okay, hope I cannot expect everybody is attempted that relational algebra. Okay, so you can attend such type of questions only if you are thorough with the basic things. Okay, you need to understand the basic operations of relational algebra. Each of the operations thoroughly you need to understand, then only you can apply to some of the database. Okay, so if you are not attempted properly that questions, just go back and revise that relational algebra. It is not just for the test, you need it for your project also. Okay, and exam also compulsory question. One database, see there are some of the questions that is writing ER diagram. Okay, then creating schema, then I told about the relational algebra and SQL query. These are the common questions in DBMS. Okay, you cannot skip it. So these are the basic things. If you don't know this, you cannot do any other things. Okay, so in case if you face difficult during test, not understood something, you can just ping me so that I'll provide the relevant resource. You can enhance your knowledge. Let me go with another constraint that is called default constraint. Okay, so create. So today whatever I am telling it is with respect to create statement. Okay, so that's what we have discussed in the basic SQL query. We started with that creating tables. So now some of the attribute you can some default value. So which attribute you need to make default? Let's see. Okay, so I'll just take once again. I think I will get error. Okay, let me change table name. Okay, student 1. Otherwise, because I already created one table is existing with name student. Until unless you do practically, you cannot understand DBMS. Okay, so you need to practice, install the software and try to execute the basic queries. Once you are thorough with the syntax, then you can do some of the lab programs. Okay, so now what I'll do is a roll number, I have just specified data type and marks. Okay, I will just specify in case if I am not inserting any marks for the student, I'll just make it default value 0 to be inserted. Okay, did you understood? So you need to check not for the roll number insert 0. It's not proper. Okay, it's mandatory roll number. But marks sometimes the student, if I don't enter, so by default it will take value 0. If you enter, then whatever the value you entered, it will be inserted that. Okay, so now I'm creating another table where roll number and marks. This is to understand the default constraint. So let me insert some records so that he will understand. Insert into name of the table. This is student 1. Okay, value I will insert 1 comma 10. Okay, what happened? Select keyword. Okay, so values I have not given here values. Insert into table name, then values. Okay, so your values, let us see. Yes. Okay, so now one row is created. Okay, so now I'll just go with another student. Okay. Record is inserted. Let me check. Let me check if I don't enter marks for the third student. Okay, I'll just give the value. Is it the correct way? or I have to specify null. Let me check. No. Okay, so it will not accept. I need to specify the values, but I can go with the null value. Just a minute. Okay, so here I need to tell now if I do this, what is this error is telling is not enough values. That means 3 I have given, is it for the roll number or is it for the marks? Okay, there is a confusion. Okay, now to avoid that confusion, what we have to do is we need to specify the for which attribute I am inserting value. Okay, so for which attribute I am inserting the value. So in that case, you need to follow this syntax. That is insert into, okay, student 1. Then you have to specify. I am going to insert value for the roll number. Okay, then close it. Values. Okay, open bracket. Then 2. And you can just see here. I am not giving the marks. I am just giving the roll number. Can you see here? Okay, I have not put comma and marks. I'm just ending with roll number. Okay, and also here I'm clearly specifying that this value is for roll number. Okay, can you see now it is successfully inserted. So if you are not specifying to which attribute, there is a confusion. Now to avoid that, after the table name, immediately you specify what is the attribute name you are going to insert value. Okay, so actually if you don't specify marks, you should get error. No, you are not getting error because I have specified this is default is 0. Okay, so let me see what is the value stored in that particular field. Okay, so that is for roll number 2. What is the value stored? So select star from student 1. Can you see? So here I could have been done. It is roll number 3, but it's okay. I have not declared as primary key or unique, so it is accepted. The duplicate value of roll number is accepted. And what is the default marks here I have given? I have not inserted marks only. Okay, so when I am not inserting value, okay, the default value is 0. If you want, you can change here. Instead of 0, you can just make it some number like average number. Normally what we'll practice, like even if student don't get, try to give some improvement test and we'll make it the minimum number of marks. Okay, 20 like that. So you can just give that. So if the student is not having marks, okay, it is 0. So whatever you are going to specify in the create statement, that value will be considered. Clear? So that is about the default constraint. So let me go with another constraint. Will you people will be there for 5 more minutes? Okay, just be there for 5 more minutes. I will just complete another constraint called check. Okay, so check constraint, or shall we? So it is very simple. That is where you can specify the condition with respect to particular attribute, and you can specify the okay, you can specify the like range. What is the condition, the value you are going to insert for that. Before inserting value, so if it is what we can tell marks. Okay, so what should be the marks of the student? So always it should be greater than 0. Okay, it should not be negative number, greater than 0. Okay, and it should be maximum up to 100 marks. So that type of conditions you can specify using check. Okay, okay, we'll just check that and foreign key concept in the next class. Okay, so thank you all. I think many of them are absent today. Okay, let them check in the video. I have just recorded it. Who all missed, you can check it in that. Okay.